To some people, it'll seem strange that we're celebrating our centenary. They'll look at their local church and they'll say, surely our church is ancient. It's much older than 100 years. And on one hand, they're correct. But on the other hand, it's a little more complex than that. Wales had for centuries been the land of the chapels, and it was famous for its great chapel revivals. And the chapels resented the fact that the Church of England in Wales had special privileges, and they resented it especially because the church was seen as an English church. Through the influence of the Liberal Party, with its charismatic leader David Lloyd George, the chapels were able to push through disestablishment. After 1920, the church presented itself as the national ancient church reborn, no longer an English church, but the church of the people of Wales. Through World War II, the church was able to offer hope and inspiration at a time of fear and suffering and grief. In the swinging 60s, the church had to engage with new ideas about relationships and sexuality. In 1966, Wales faced one of its darkest days, the Aberfan disaster. Within 24 hours, Bishop Glyn Simon was there in the village, standing alongside grieving villagers. And he even spoke for the nation when he condemned the greed and the selfishness that had led to this tragedy. Prominent church leaders were involved in campaigns for Welsh road signs, Welsh language television, and Welsh schools. Bishops and archbishops started to support political disestablishment and the setting up of a Welsh government. You could even see a similarity between disestablishment and devolution. Power was moved from England to Wales. Both of them set up a sense of national pride. Don't get me wrong, it's not all been rosy for the church in the past 100 years. By the 1920s, people were already starting to question their faith. From the 1960s, there began a sharp fall in membership in the church in Wales. People were finding other things to do on Sunday. This was a huge challenge for the church. How could it exist in a society and for a society if its beautiful buildings were being used less and less? The makeup of church congregations is changing. The church has broadened its sense of inclusivity. It's widened its notions of cultures, people, groups, identities. We've seen support for asylum seekers and refugees. We've seen the establishment of LGBT chaplaincies. The church today is not looking to force people through its doors. It's looking beyond the walls of its buildings, and it's looking to go to where people are. There's Messy Church, which reaches children and families through craft and story. There's Pub Church, and then there's Dementia Cafes, Puppet Church, Eco Church. So our challenge today is to find new ways of being church, new ways of connecting with people. We live in a fragmented age which often lacks compassion and connection and care. The Christian faith offers something radically different. It gives people hope. It says to people, you matter, you are of value, you are loved. Now that's a message that can change lives. There's a famous Welsh song, Yma o Hyd, We're Still Here, which talks about Welsh culture, Welsh people, Welsh language. And there's a message there that the church can take. Through its ups and downs, through its highs and lows, we're still here. For the suffering, for the joyful, for those who are searching for meaning, for those who are asking the big questions. Dan ni yma o hyd. We're still here, and we're looking forward to the next 100 years.